Hey folks, Alex McMahon here of Evolve Nutritional Therapy. This is going to be the 7th and final video in our series on fasting. And our topic for today are tips for fasting when you're just starting off. The very first thing to think about is hunger, and to know that it's totally natural and it's going to be a part of the process. As you adapt to this new schedule of going long periods of time without eating, you're going to experience some hunger. But as you get used to this new schedule, that hunger will kind of reduce over time. Partly, this is due to the hormone ghrelin, which is the hunger-stimulating hormone, and it operates on our circadian clock, so kind of our wake and our sleep cycles. Now, the interesting thing is that you can actually retrain ghrelin to spike at new times, so you have better control over your hunger, and you're going to be doing this with fasting. The next thing is to start slow. People typically want to jump in and do the most extreme version of things that they think are going to work, but this isn't going to be beneficial for them, especially with fasting. If you've never done it before, trying to jump into a 24 or like an even crazier 72-hour fast is going to be really, really difficult. So I advise that people start off skipping breakfast, going about 12 to 14 hours, then working their way up to the 16-8 lean gains protocol, and then if they'd like to, experimenting with a 24-hour or longer fast. But remember, fasting is a source of stress, and you need to give your body some time to adapt to it and to actually recover from it as well. So starting slow is going to allow you to better do that. One of the most important tips is to sleep more. And part of this is due to the fact that if you can be asleep for a lot more of your fast, then it's going to be a pain-free way to actually start extending your fast and experimenting with them and making them longer. Another thing is by getting more sleep, you're going to be able to have better control over your appetite, diminish cravings, and if you're strength training, you'll be able to build muscle more efficiently. And if your goal is fat loss, you'll also be able to lose fat. So, if I could bottle up the benefits of sleep and put it in a pill, I'd be living on a yacht and sleeping on a bed of gold coins. But unfortunately, until then, I'm just going to have to encourage people to sleep more. It really is kind of the magic bullet of health, fat loss, building muscle. It's a phenomenal benefit and totally free to you. So by sleeping more, you're going to be able to extend your fast in a pain-free fashion, and it's just going to allow you to have much better control over your appetite and far fewer cravings throughout this time as your body adapts to a new schedule of fasting. Having a plan is going to be crucial. So if you can map out the days and times that you're going to be fasting and then also eating, it's going to allow you to mentally prepare for what you're going to be doing. Everybody does far better when they have a plan to follow and when they know what to expect. So by having a plan and starting off planning those days, you'll be able to better follow the schedule. Another thing is you're going to want to be flexible about this. There's nothing magical about the very last few hours of a fast. So if you plan to fast for 16 hours and you have a social event or you made plans with somebody and it comes up at 14 and a half hours, don't sweat the last hour and a half. When we stress about things, we make it much more difficult to actually adhere to doing them in the long term. So just realize there's nothing magical about the last few hours of a fast, and if you have to break it for some reason to go out with friends or family or go enjoy yourself, eat some delicious food and enjoy yourself. At the end of the day, it's really about living life. Lastly would be to use caffeine and be productive. So when you're very first starting off and you're experiencing these larger hunger spikes during the time when your body's adapting, caffeine can be a really phenomenal appetite suppressant that will help you. And it can also help you to push through some energy slumps that you may possibly have during this time when your body is still adapting to your new fasting protocol. Lastly would be to focus on being productive. One of the big things is if we sit around and focus on food all the time during a fasting period, that's only going to make it more difficult to actually follow through and do it. If you focus on being productive and getting things done with this extra time that you have, not focusing on food, it's going to make it much easier to adhere to it and to stick with it long term. So that's all I got for you today. Again, thank you for watching this whole video series. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do so. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at Evolve Nutritional Therapy. You can find me on both Snapchat and Twitter at EvolveNTPDX. And if you have any questions, you can email me directly at evolvenTPDX@gmail.com. Thanks again for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.